call this Natural Resource Board to order, and we can start the meeting. Could we have roll call, please? Oh, I'm sorry, a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The board keeps me in order. Roll call.
Chairman Ring.
Here.
Vice Chairman Gordian is not present. Ms. Glazer is not present. Mr. Clifton. Here. Ms. Lucier is not present. Ms. Tunker.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Progolski.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Kroll.
Here.
And Mr. Weregroda is not present.
They said Ann asked for a half hour, should be here in a half hour.
That was Ms. Lucier?
Yes,
Okay.
And, excuse me, and then Gil Gordian did call and informed us that he will not be here today, so he asked for his absence.
Okay. An excused absence. Okay. Tonight, Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to introduce our recording consultant. This is Susan Mann. She's
Hi.
going to do the roll call and the minutes for the meeting, all of the city boards and committees from now on. So she'll be taking over here shortly.
So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay. Are there any agenda modifications? No? Okay. And we can approve the minutes. We have to approve July's minutes first. Do I have a second on July?
I move that we accept July 5th meeting minutes as provided. Second.
Okay. I'm just going to ask for a yay or nay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, that carried. And now we have to do August meeting minutes. Oh, okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the August 2nd meeting minutes as provided and presented.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I need to abstain. I was not present.
Okay. That still would carry three carries? Okay. All right. And we have unfinished business and election of vice chair. Gil's not here. I have been informed that he would like to stay vice chair, but it's up to the board. Do you just...
I would nominate Gil Gordian for vice chair.
Well, we can't do it if he's not here. So what we would have to do then is postpone this again to next meeting.
I guess, Frank, I don't know if you can give us any advice on this. If we have, do we have substantive information that says he is interested? Do we have the opportunity to re-elect him if we have knowledge that he is interested?
He did mention at the last meeting he was still interested,
Right.
And that's why he wanted to stay as a vice chair and not run. Remember, for chair, he was actually nominated for chair, and he declined because he wanted to stay as a vice chair. My assumption is he wants to stay as a vice chair. Whether or not that could have changed since that last meeting, I have no idea. He did ask and call for excuse for tonight and said he was sorry. But I think if the board, as the chair mentioned, he's been here for quite a long time, and I think he's been doing a great job as a vice chair. If you want to keep him as a vice chair, what you should do is just table it for the next meeting.
Makes sense, yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll table that then to next meeting. Okay. Then the invasive plant brochure. We talked about it, and we did say that we were going to, help with the printing of this brochure. How we wish to help is up to us. Either we can print some brochures off, or one suggestion was made that we just give this lady, a check to help, because then she can do a quantity discount, and she can, we could just give her a check to help her print off these brochures. So we would still get some copies. It's all up to you. I don't know what you all want to do.
Madam Chair. Sorry. Do we have an accounting of our current budget?
Okay, it hasn't changed since the last time, so I still think it's like $280.
It's like $280 and change. I don't know the exact, but you're roughly in the same area. I believe there was some, you could verify with Mr. Clifton if any additional charges has yet been done on the champion tree. I think it's what's been charged so far since our last meeting. I have no accounting of. None has. So then we're
Haven't done anything.
okay. So
with
we're
that
still
yet.
solid with about the 280 something.
We haven't done the champion tree program brochure, so but we have a price on that. It's only $100, right? Tops 80, some others.
Well, it depends on how many copies we need to get. I'm inclined to say, well, 50 to 100 copies, it's $47 for 50, $85 for 100. And,
So we
got
would,
$200 left,
we have $200 left, yes.
plus
so
or minus.
Plus tax.
It's up to the board. What would you like to do?
Do we have
I
a-
think I need a motion then, right, before we can discuss it?
Well, I have a question on here. It says there's 225 invasive plants. Is this all there is these 2 pages? They note the 9 that are the most dangerous, I guess.
And those are the ones that are in our area. A lot of the invasive plants are in different parts of Florida. These are the ones that are common to our area.
Okay.
And I assume, well, so I would move that we provide, based on Mr. Clifton's estimates of $85 for 100 copies, I assume that the invasive plant brochure being just front and back of a flyer would be approximately the same. Jim, is Champion Tree Program flyer similar?
It's there's a little bit more color to this, but they're similar. Yeah, I think it's a trifold, right, that they're making?
Yes, and she, if we do give them money to help with it, she asked that we make it check payable to the, St. Sebastian River. I forgot who she.
Chair, I think that's a good idea, as long as the check is made to a certain organization, a nonprofit or some, not just a blank check. Our finance department may have issues with that, but as long as we have it so it's trackable and there's a receipt, like you're saying it to a certain organization, I don't see a problem with that. And if you wanna use the remaining funds, since we're going in towards the end of October, I think you're comfortable now with whatever is remaining to use for what needs to be printed out. So I would say just use what's remaining and print what you need to print. Since we're coming into October and there won't be any other needs until that meeting, this is your last chance to spend that amount of money.
So I was gonna ask Jane if have you collected any funds yet for the brochure from any other organizations?
We haven't collected any money yet, but we have commitments.
Okay.
And we found a place in Vero, a local print shop that does very high quality called Minuteman.
Mm-hmm.
And to print 5,000, they gave us a cost of $557.44. But they want to add their logo on the bottom, and none of the other organizations thought that would be a problem. It'll be very small at the bottom. It's like almost half price to do that.
Mean the printing company adds their logo to the bottom? Is that what
Yeah. Just at the
Printed by
so that
whatever.
they printed it, you know. Pelican Island Audubon Society is committed, a range, $50 to $100. The Eugenia, that's the local chapter of the Native Plant Society, is donating $250. Friends of St. Sebastian River has not had a board meeting to decide, but I know they're going to give something. We have 3 individuals that, if we don't get enough money, have committed to making up the difference to print these. So if we print 5,000, whatever this board could donate would be appreciated. You know, people are giving all different amounts. And then you can have as many copies as you want, hopefully not all 5,000, but also the copy would be available for you to maybe put it on your website, and other individuals could print it out themselves. So that's it. We have almost enough from the commitments, 250, 350, so we don't need a lot more.
So if just for discussion purposes, if we donated $100, that would cover probably the rest?
Oh, that would be great, if you can afford it, right. That would be great.
According to Mr. Watanabe, our budget year ends in October, is what you're saying?
Your budget year ends at the end of this month. So
Right.
what you need to do is encumber that money before the end of this month.
Right.
Or the money goes away.
Exactly.
And
Madam
so
Chair, I make a motion that we donate $100 towards the invasive plant brochure.
And I second that.
Okay, can I just take a blank vote, or do I need to do a by-person vote?
You could ask for, are there any points of discussion?
Oh, okay, any discussion, any further discussion? Okay, blank vote, or
I would say since you're expending money, take a vote.
Yeah.
take a vote, okay. All right, we need to take a vote.
Yeah.
I just want to say one more thing after you vote.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, that passes. All right. So how do I
Just, since you voted, 5-0 to support the $100, I'll help take care of the paperwork and go through finance to secure the money, so that way we don't lose that fund. So I'll try to take care of that tomorrow.
oh, good, thank you, okay.
I believe Jane had something.
Tell somebody, I'm not sure who, where to send the money?
If you can,
Okay, and, you also need to let me know how many hard copies you want, so that we can get them. Hopefully it can be printed in the next couple of weeks, 'cause and nobody has any corrections? Okay. Nobody has any corrections to the brochure?
No, I didn't see any corrections, did you?
Obviously, the brochure that was
Need that minute?
in your packet's been reduced. The pictures are gonna be a
Right.
lot larger than that, just to let you know. Yeah.
Jane, I think we would probably, if we set up a booth or table at the clam bake this year, we would have those as part of our, information on the table, and certainly for Earth Day, I have no idea, I'm guessing, you know, and the board can correct me, but even 500 would go a long way for us. I mean,
Okay.
they would last probably a while.
Mhm. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now we're up to the championship vote, and we postponed it until this meeting, so, would you all like to,
Okay, well, the basic decision, one, we need glossy, to decide on whether it's gonna be a flat type of paper or a glossy. As I said, my preference would be And I'll make a motion, and we can go from there. I'll make a motion to do 100 copies on the glossy paper, and that would be $85.
Okay, $85 on glossy paper.
Yes.
And I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? We need a vote. Oh, okay. Do I need to restate it? $85 on glossy paper, right?
Yes, that's the motion.
That's motion, okay. Yes,
And that was seconded?
Yes, I seconded it.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you. Chairman Ring?
yes.
Mr. Clifton?
Yes?
Ms. Tunker?
Yes.
Mr. Pogolski?
Yes.
Mr. Kroll?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have the working waterfront oyster bag update.
Just a staff report. I apologize, since our last meeting, we hadn't had a chance to work on the permit. Where we sit right now is, I'm still also waiting for the final documentation. This is a grant-funded project, which we get from the Indian River Lagoon Council. And so, I'm in the process right now of make sure we have all the paperwork in place, at the same time moving forward with the permitting. Well, the permitting will require us to get both the Army Corps and the DEP permit, for this project, and so I have not yet started that process yet. So that's pretty much the update. We did create a map that we showed you last time. I showed you the location, shows what we're looking at. I don't think there's gonna be an issue with the permitting, since we had the agencies out there when we did the previous project, and they were very positive support of this location. So as soon as we get this thing moving forward, time-wise, we weren't gonna make the October, but we're looking more towards next year's, April timeframe. And we will be also talking with the ARC, who will provide us some assistance, as well as this commission, to help in the implementation of the project. So right now, I think we have a grace period until we get closer towards the April timeframe.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one question, just curious, it's gonna be obviously much larger than what we put out as the Eagle Scout project, but, so Frank, do you have a good source for your shells? I'm just curious on where the oyster shells are coming from.
We're gonna depend on the ARC to take care of the,
Oh, you
the
said that,
logistics.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll take care of the actually, not collection, but getting the oysters and taking care of putting them in bags and doing the production work. I think your role is gonna be, they say they will not be involved with the implementation. So that way, we need to have someone that help put them out. And we're actually in a better area. We're looking at very shallow, very brackish. If you've been out there, it's in between the shoreline and the marina. Even at high tides, worst case, maybe 5 feet of water. So we're not in the very deep part of the lagoon. We're in a very shallow area, and we're right off of the working waterfront area. We're also hoping to get started with the permitting on the shoreline improvements, so I gotta try to get that in advance of this project, because we wanna do the shoreline in advance of putting out the oysters. Wouldn't be advantageous to put out the oyster bags, and then we come in and redo the shorelines, and then we have to then either move the oysters or damage them in that process of construction. So that's why I'm trying to balance these two projects out.
Okay. I think you wait for public input, right? We don't do, right, public input. Okay, Earth Day, we have it for Saturday, April 22nd.
Chair?
Yeah.
I just wanna highlight again, we have that date confirmed. I checked with our community development department. They have confirmed, Earth Day for this commission to have on April the 12th, Saturday, for the whole day. It's reserved. 22nd, sorry, 22nd. And then also, in addition to that, the stage will also be reserved for this commission.
Okay, thank you.
And that was what we had questions with last month, was Michelle or Frank were gonna pin down the date, make sure that was available, so obviously that's been accomplished.
I apologize, the stage and the audio, all that stuff has been reserved for that day.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Yeah, I also went down and made sure that they had the 22nd, because they have the 27th. But okay, Earth Day. I asked last time about these brochures for Earth Day, and I don't know if I should bring it up now or bring it up again at the end. The septic brochure that I asked you, I gave you a, webpage to look at, and this is the brochure. And I don't know if, if we do it, I kinda would like it also for, oyster, so I'd like to get this one done, but I don't know if you all wanna do that. And it's on septic, it's on our septic field. And, there's a lot of information out there, but that's a brochure we can print, and we can put our logo on it too. It has a place where we can, and if we wanna do it this, fiscal year, then I can do it with some of the money that's left, 'cause I guess we have about $100 left, right? 'Cause we spent, $185.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What are our methods of distribution of these types of things?
When we go, we have a table and a tent set up, and we have a nice banner that we had made last year, and we set these up, and, we just hand them out. People come up to us, and all these brochures are free. We just hand them out.
So primarily at Earth Day only, is what you're talking about?
Well, we were doing, Clam Fest, Clam Break,
Okay.
and that's in, November.
Okay.
So that's why I was thinking if we get it done now, we would have the invasive plants, we'd have the champion tree, and we could have something on the septic systems. Can I?
They also have
Pay us
a
that.
brochure, I don't know what the right term is, but around City Hall and the golf course, I presume there's places for brochures and things around the city.
Yes,
Where
we do. We
people
have,
can pick them
areas for brochures up in the front counter area. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. This would be educational again, and since, there's a lot of people in the city of Sebastian who do have septic systems,
Everybody.
you think? I thought that might be helpful. This one is by the, EPA, and I got it off of the EPA website, and we can print it. And we're allowed to put a logo on it. There's a space for us to put a logo if we decide to print some. And we can then, if we do it now, this month, then we can do it with the $100 that's left.
Chair, just again to highlight, our fiscal year ends at the end of this month, so if you are deciding to spend that money, tonight's the night you want to make that action. I'm not sure, I am going to support with the, new budget that you guys get your same amount of funds again that we had this year. I no promises, because it's got to go through the council, it's got to get approved, the whole budget. But right now, we know for sure what's remaining, and your current budget is $100 for your use, so I would recommend, this is your only meeting until the next October, spend it.
Okay, all right. So we can get that printed and put our logo on it, and I would need I need a vote. That would be for, well, okay. I guess we can do it now, because we would also have for Earth Day.
All right, well then I make a motion that we have these printed and use the remaining funds for whatever we can print.
Second.
I second.
Okay, we need a vote?
Chairman Ring,
Yes?
Mr. Clifton,
Yes?
Ms. Tunker,
Yes.
Mr. Pogolski,
Yes.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So can we, what do I do now?
My suggestion is, because time is limited, you go to either Total Prints, one of the local ones around here. Total Prints is off of Washington. See what they'll charge, and because we already have an account there, they'll just charge it right to our account. That makes it the quickest, the easiest. Find out what's remaining, what's left after the 185, what's remaining. If there's still another 95 or 100, then you'll know what it is, and they can just charge up to that amount at Total Prints. That way we take care of you just show them what you want, say this is what we'll have for the remaining funds, and then they'll produce it for us. I mean, I'm just trying to make it simple and easy within the time frame we have since the clock is clicking.
I do have one question though. We can put our logo on it, and I don't know how to do that.
They have that too. At Total Prints, If you go there, they do our business cards. So if you say we want the Sebastian logo, they could put it on there. They do our business cards.
Okay, all right, and they can get it off the website?
They actually have it on their system. They create most of our documents and letters, and so if you go to them, because you said you wanted the logo on there, they could add it to it because they have it in their system.
Okay, and they can go to that website and get that, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, I should take care of that then? All right, I will.
Again, it's Total Prints off of Washington, right next to Vic's Pete, right there. You can't miss it. That
Okay,
little plaza.
all right. And then we're up to the sewers, and we had a lovely meeting, I think, last time. That gentleman was very, I thought, informative. I enjoyed the talk.
You're talking about, Vincent Burke from the Indian River County Utilities. He's the director?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, I hope I didn't yell at him too hard. But I thought the sewers were, I still feel that they should be doing them free. I'm sorry, I'm just there. You know, if you wanna put a sewer in and I have a septic, I still feel you should be doing it free.
Chair, just to highlight you, we had a meeting, the city manager, myself, with the county, Vincent Burke, and the new county administrator, Jason Brown. As you know, Joe Barry retired, so there's a new county administrator. We had a meeting to talk about, implementing that project again, the septic to sewer. And so we're right now in dialogue with the county, and I believe the county may be taking something back to their county commission on that program. So we're working together with the county.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anybody? All right. And we are up to public input. So anybody from the public?
Guess I'm the only public. Mr. Public. Ben Hockett, Sebastian. Frank, on your working waterfront with the oyster bags, the pictorial you show here, I believe when we did the Boy Scouts, we had to have so many inches of water above it. It's kinda... Could you address the chair? I mean, I know. Okay. We were supposed to have a certain amount of water over it at all times. That's not really a problem, I don't think. But not knowing where your shoreline's gonna go, and the dockage where the commercial boats park, the sterns of the boats are tied directly to the dock, which we're putting the oyster bags in back of. So every time that boat goes to leave, we're pushing silt and what have you. That's why it's shallow in that area. They've been blowing sand and everything. We're gonna put oyster bags there, and they'll be covered by the sand, possibly. Just a comment. The sewers, when we went about that, they came before the city council. They wanted us to put up a lot of money as the city, and the council told them politely, and after they were told, we're not gonna listen to you, and we're not putting our funds up, they picked their stuff up and left. Well, they just came back to you at the last meeting with the same thing that the council had already heard a year or so ago. And now you're gonna come up with something on this spoil island. That particular island, I believe, is out of Sebastian's jurisdiction. All waterways are from Captain Butcher's to the west side of the intercoastal and down to the end of our park. If I'm not mistaken, that little island is outside of that, which means we have nothing to say about it, nothing to do with it. And when they dredged the intercoastal, the county wasn't even allowed, we weren't even allowed to rebuild and pump anything onto those islands because there's a big squawk about contaminants in the ground, water, in the murk. So we built a dam around an old, I guess it was probably an orange grove, and we pumped all the fill from the intercoastal almost all the way up into Brevard County down into a drainage pond. So I don't know what your plans are or what people think they can do there. I don't know who this organization was, but one day I was at the water, somebody came by and they had a whole bunch of mangroves in little pots that they had grown. And there were about 5 people hopping in a boat, taking about 50 to 70 of these plants out and planting them somewhere. I don't know who they are. You might want to try and find them, and they might have the capabilities of just going out there and planting mangroves. Thank you.
All right, I don't,
Chair, just to respond back to some of the comments that were pointed out towards the projects. Number one, when we do the permitting and the assessment, we will be looking at the placements of the bags to make sure that they don't interfere with any of the boats. The area is not navigable, but he is correct. If there are some disturbance, we don't want the bags to be disturbed. At the same time, that's why I'm trying to coordinate the shoreline restoration project first, to make sure we get that finalized, so we don't impact our oyster bag project. So we're aware of it, and in the review process for the permitting, so will the agencies. So we'll make sure we address that on that point. The second point on the sewer to septic, what we're looking right now, if you're not aware, we're in the process of receiving our second lagoon grant from the Indian River Lagoon Council, which is $100,000 for the septic to sewer grant. And that's what the county is talking to us regarding, since we currently have our local match right now where we sponsor, if you go from septic to sewer, we give you up to $5,000 for the hookup to help promote that project. And right now of the 2 years, we've accrued up to $200,000. We spent about, I think we have remaining about we have about $90,000, so we spent about $110,000. So they want to then come on board to help with this new money we're going to get, so we're getting another $100,000 from this Lagoon Council, so maybe we can now support maybe not $5,000, but maybe $10,000, so that becomes a little bit more palatable. And the county's saying, well, maybe we'll pitch in with you, so that becomes even more palatable, because the larger that amount of money we could then tell someone who wants to hook up, instead of 5, 10, maybe even more, the person's going to say, that now that's a bargain, I'll take that hookup. So that's what we're working with the county right now. So that's what we're looking at, is because we had that so far grant. It's not yet has been approved, because we're in the working process of getting the contract, when then hopefully in the next month or two, I'll be taking to the city council this award of $100,000 from the Lagoon Council for the city council to accept that award. That's where we're moving into a new project.
Madam Chair, a couple questions regarding that. So, Frank, do you prioritize commercial over residential in terms of expending those funds? Like, I'm just curious on how you prioritize those.
Good question. Right now, the way it's set up is the $50,000 was geared more towards residential. However, we have changed that parameter, since we had several. A good example was I just lost my mind. Right next to our compound,
American Legion?
The American Legion, thank you the American Legions came to us for hookup, and so we gave them $50,000, and so that was more of a larger commercial size use. So, and we also gave the apartment complex that's on Indian River Drive right next to Coolidge. They have 2 actually septic systems that they hooked up. So since they had 2 existing septic systems, we gave them $10,000 because it's larger. So so we're trying to make this now more in terms of a commercial, like a scale. So like a commercial unit, if you're not used to utilities, individual homes, they call them LEUs, your use of the sewage. Of course, when you have a single family home, it's a lot less than if you have a commercial business that has a lot of public use, so the use goes up. We're going to scale this the same way too. As we expand more for commercial, maybe we give them more of the grant. But there's a limit, because if we have remaining $90,000, we get $100,000, we have $190,000. If a large commercial comes in and uses up all the funds, I think it would be good, but we want to make it, distribute as many as we can. So that's what we're working with the county right now, saying what's the fair range of this scalable commercial use, to answer your question. So it's going to be scalable for commercial.
Right. Well, it seems, and I understand there's always that, weighing of which is the most benefit, but it seems like commercial operations generate a lot more waste than a single family home. So that's why I was asking, if you.
And that's the county's feeling toward that as well. The way I see it is, because we have projects up and down the lagoon, and in all that area is, when the water table rises, it's not this 10 feet down, it's like 3 feet. So anybody who has septic and leach fields, it's bleeding into the system. 'cause we have our projects, our construction projects, we go no more than 2 feet down, and water's pumping in. So, those leach fields are getting impacted by the lagoon water, and for every one we could take care of, that's just one less. And maybe that's not a huge issue, just like our oyster bag, just one more to help us out. So I think if it's residential or commercial, or if it's one more we could put on the list to get off, that's one more less we have to deal with.
No, I certainly agree with that. I was just curious about, the trade-off, commercial versus
And the county is trying to push the commercial, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And if, I wasn't here, unfortunately. I was one meeting I wish I could have been at. But reading the minutes, all I see in there is gravity sewers. And you just mentioned the water's 2 feet down. Putting gravity sewers in this community is gonna be a extremely costly function. Did they ever consider E1 and, vacuum sewers?
The actual gravity sewer line system they're talking about, mainly the majority of the new system that they're gonna be putting in, which is a gravity fed that ties into their current force main, is along US 1. They're gonna break away from US 1 just within our area, north central, in that area, to pick up some of the gravity lines in that area. So it's not gonna go all the way down to Indian River Drive.
But we're not talking about the sewering of the entire community.
No, we're only talking about the riverfront area, only the
Oh, okay.
riverfront. West, we're talking about everything east of US 1, and then the sewer line that's gonna be gravity fed on US 1, if US 1 compared to Indian River Drive,
Right.
there's a huge difference in elevation.
I can deal with it there. The rest of the community, other options need to be entertained.
In the future, I think there's hybrid systems like the City of Vero Beach is looking at. Right now, we're trying to experiment just with the riverfront area, 'cause our biggest concern right now is the impact of lagoon and how we can do, what we can do to help, improve that situation.
Okay, so there is no discussion of doing
Citywide,
the rest of the community,
we're only looking at now the redevelopment.
US one,
Yes.
okay.
May I say something? And the reason why they did the gravity fed, because that was the least expensive out of all the others too. The money, I forget what the difference in price was, but it was phenomenal. And to ask the private citizens to take that on, because he was saying, what, a $15,000 hookup fee to hook up to the gravity fed, so it's a lot of money.
I think they should hook up free. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. And we had public input. Oh, that was response to public input, okay. New business, as a spoil island. Mr. Griffin.
Okay, and to my knowledge, Indian River 8 is in the city limits. I don't know, Frank, you can
I will check with our other departments and verify that. I thought it was in our city too.
Yeah, all the mapping that I've ever looked at, it was in the city limits, so it may not be. If it's not, this conversation is moot. But I met this afternoon at 1 o'clock with the folks at the, what's it called? It's Indian River Lagoon Aquatic Preserves. They were quite interested in the concept that we would be interested in helping them with one of their islands, and possibly if the future, if they have projects with the other spoil islands that are within the city limits. I made it clear that that was a caveat that we had to live with, that they would involve us, seek our involvement in other projects that they might have on the other islands. However, before we could discuss any specifics as far as a project goes, they thought the best deal would be to do a site visit, and determine what projects would be appropriate for the island. So I took the liberty of setting up a date of September 23rd. It's a Friday, and not knowing what the interest of the rest of the group might be to go out to the island and participate in that survey, we've got a 9:30 leaving the dock, or any time between noon and 2 leaving the dock. So I'll leave that, if there's anybody else that has an expression of a time that they would like to participate and go, I was going to email them with the time tomorrow.
Are you saying there's gonna be two different times, or pick one?
Pick one,
Okay.
9:30 or any time between noon and 2.
What transportation do you have over?
They will have a boat for approximately up to, what was it, I think 6 people possibly.
What kind of boat?
I don't know.
And that's the island out across from Mulligan's, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, a little south of Mulligan.
Yeah, but I can go out in the kayak, 'cause
Yeah, it's not that
I mean, you got a kayak and get yourself out there, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a problem.
it's not
My
far.
problem would be when we start doing these plantings or whatever, we're gonna need a boat to take
Yeah, right. That's,
out the
that's,
supplies.
once we decide on what we can do.
Okay, so they'll supply us for the boat.
To go out and do the site survey.
Yeah,
Just do
after
the site
that,
survey.
then it's up to us to get a boat to transport product out.
I have a boat.
They might decide we can't do anything. You
Yeah.
know, we need to do the site survey first.
Okay.
Chair, I think in the past, I believe if you did select an island within the city and you guys started doing that, program again, I think the city, provided, like through Public Works, they provided the avenue. If you guys did the work to clean up, then we'll provide a boat to come pick up the bags and stuff. I think that was in the past. I'll run it by our city manager again. If that's still the same approach, I think what we did in the past will continue once you get a new island.
The city was provided the boat for the trash, but we weren't allowed on the boat because of liability, which I understand that. The
Right.
employees could ride the boat, but we could fill
Yeah,
it up
what
with
you do is you'll
trash.
clean up the islands and stack it up, and
Right.
then our Public Works guys will come out there
Yep.
and then pick up all the bags, so that way you're not carting bags back and forth.
And actually, they were helping with us.
Yeah.
They came out and, you know, who was ever the captain of the boat that time, they would be out on the islands with us cleaning, so it was great.
So like I say,
It's a great effort.
if that happens, I think, I'll run it past the city manager tomorrow, but I'm assuming it was a already established program. If you just wanna reinitiate again, I don't think it'd be an issue. We do still have those little pickup sticks. We have, so if you do start that program, we have the little pickup sticks.
Technically speaking though, and again, I'm probably don't know, but this is a conservation island. When birds are nesting, there is no public access. So my assumption is there should be very little debris on the island. And that's another project that we discussed that they would be interested in, and that is signage. They currently don't have any format for the signage, but if we wanted to develop a sign with their approval, we could designate, put a sign out there, this is a conservation island, yada, yada. So that's another thing that they would be interested in us participating with them on.
We had that when we had adopted that one island that was down much farther, almost into Micco. We had a sign up there saying that we took care of that island, Natural Resource Board of Sebastian, so, and I thought one of the times we were cleaning islands, I thought Gil had taken signs and put signs on that island, but they could have been taken off by now or fallen over or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm sure we'll find debris on there because it just washes up. Whew. So I'm sure there'll be something out there for us to pick up anyways.
So does anybody have an interest in going over for the site survey on the 23rd?
I'd love to do it, and I would say 9:30 would be a good time because it's cool.
Okay, anybody else?
I would go.
Okay. 9:30? Okay, I'll call them and set it for 9:30.
I won't be there.
There's a good chance the island will be clean though, because there is an island cleanup on the 17th.
Yeah, there's a, intercoastal cleanup. Actually,
We
it's
will not be
country-
clean, we will just be observing
Yeah.
what's there and
What you need to do.
what kind of projects we could implement.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, and other than island cleanup, you've already enumerated other ones that we could do, like removing invasive plants and those things, so there's a lot of opportunity, I think.
Most definitely.
That's the end of my report for the day.
And, we're up to staff matters,
I have nothing tonight.
okay? Nothing from Jeanette? She's gone.
She's gone.
Okay, and staff matters now? Nothing?
No, no staff matters.
I have a question.
Okay.
This may not be the right time. And, you know, I'm new to this board and I'm relatively new to town, but, you know, every place I look, I see Pelican Island, and I see our slogan is Pelican Island. Is this group concern itself only with things within the city limits?
Yes.
Yes.
So, we have no relationship to Pelican Island, which needs a lot of help.
We,
Yeah, actually, excuse me, so I did ask, Bill Miller, who is the project, manager, he actually oversees Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge, Archie Carr, Lake Wales Ridge, and so on, and he and I work together in our normal business, but he's gonna come in the next couple of months to give a presentation to this board, just so we
Okay.
understand, kind of their, area of responsibility, and whether we have, you know, we might at least have some interest in opportunities to help them out, not as a board necessarily, but to understand what their needs are. There may be some opportunities, and so I asked him to come and we haven't scheduled the time, whether it be next time in October or November, but he's gonna come and he's gonna give us an overall, idea of what they're doing and some of the things that they need help on.
Okay, that's great, because I don't know if any of you have been out there lately, but, just a lot of room for improvement.
Right.
Particularly if it's our namesake for this city. So.
okay, I went to the Gopher conference, and, I had a good time there, and they mentioned something about doing tunnels, making tunnels
Oh, for the Gophers.
for the gophers. And, I thought maybe we could think about that for Earth Day, that we can do a gopher tunnel. They have the thing online, how to make a tunnel and what you're supposed to put in the tunnel to make it look like a gopher. And they have education materials, and I just thought that was something we could do at Earth Day.
Now, did you discuss, April 10th is National Gopher Tortoise Day? Did you,
No,
they offer they'll do a proclamation, I think. They'll do it, they'll get a proclamation from Florida Wildlife, and we can claim that April 10th is Gopher Tortoise Day here in the city of Sebastian. So I was thinking that would be a great thing to do and connect that with Earth Day as well. The presentation he did was really good.
yeah.
Really did, he did a good job. It was very interesting, but I thought there'd be another thing, I'm thinking the kids, getting the kids interested in everything that we can possibly do.
Does, it sounds like, is that, something that the commission would like us to move forward with, this working, some sort of this gopher tortoise, proclamation, as well as
Yeah.
these,
Okay.
they call them burls, these, burls?
Burrs, yes,
Yeah.
burrs, yes,
I was going to call, before I didn't do it, because I wanted to wait till this meeting, I was gonna get in touch with Alex and ask him what exactly we need to do, and then present that to city council, 'cause we have until obviously April 10th, so.
Yeah,
but-
it may be something you may wanna act within this board, and if this board with the chair approves it, then I would highly recommend that the board, you as a representative, then take it to the city council. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
It's up to you guys, you know, but I think it'd be more stronger as a board than your individual self
right,
to
no, I
bring that
agree.
to city council. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great thing, and for the kids, and if you could have seen the gopher burrows, they made them out of, white PVC pipes, and it looked like shade cloth, and then they made a bigger thing on the end, 'cause that's what the gopher tortoise does, and they had stuffed animals inside that live in the burrow, they had bugs, you know, fake bugs and snakes, and anything that lives in the burrow, it was really cute.
Well, and like I said, we see them quite often here within Sebastian, but you know, outside of Sebastian and majority of Florida and other states, they're still a very endangered species, so.
Yeah.
We're just fortunate because we have a sandy, you know, area that
Right.
they come here, and we have tons of tortoises, I mean, everywhere, but in other parts of the state, they're vanishing very fast, so I think it's a good idea. I would highly recommend, if the commission wants to move forward, you guys work together.
Could we actually have a tortoise there?
You'll have to work with the Fish and Wildlife, we cannot be
have
picking up,
one.
the only time you could pick up one is to get it out of the roadway,
Right.
you know, to move it forward, but you
Okay.
shouldn't be picking one up, you
That
shouldn't
would
be
really
carrying
be
one.
great for the kids.
They are protected, so you shouldn't be picking one up, carrying them around.
But they do have one that's been domesticated because she was injured, or it was, I don't know if it was a he or a she, but they do bring it
Yeah.
around to the schools.
Good. that'd be great.
Yeah.
Fish and Wildlife has the ones that they bring around with,
Yeah.
and they've been, you're right, domesticated, but the
Yeah.
typical ones that are out, like the ones out
Oh,
here,
no, don't
we've
touch
had
them.
people bring them inside saying it was almost got run over by a vehicle, our issue is put it back, you know, put it back because it's against the law, you shouldn't be picking one up and,
I just thought
Falling
that
off
for the
of it.
kids to actually see one,
Oh,
a
yeah,
live one would be
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That was
Domestic
one of the
doesn't
things,
matter.
get in touch with them. 'Cause
All
they
you
do-
have to do is go out to the field back
I
there
know, they're
behind
all
us.
out here, this is where we went, that was
And
amazing.
there's a half a dozen over there.
Yeah, at least.
again, we're very fortunate, we're in an area that has highly, you know, sandy soil that they like to
Yeah.
burrow in.
Yeah, I did learn a lot. Okay, so, and we can get free coloring books and all kinds of,
Literature.
literature from
Yeah.
them that they will give us.
So does the commission wanna put this on the next agenda as an action item to discussing?
Yes,
Let's
Okay.
add that in
I'll make sure it's
there.
on the agenda.
okay, thanks, yeah. All right. Anything else we need to put on next month's agenda?
And I apologize for being late. Did you discuss Earth Day, that it's gonna be the 22nd of April?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you discuss that? Okay.
And could I ask, so you said April 10th is National Gopher Tortoise
Yeah.
Day? Okay.
Can we get them?
I was just curious, the National Gopher,
Well, it's-
gopher tortoises are only in the southeast, so I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
well,
how you have a national day for
I
the...
think he called it National Gopher Tour. I was just so excited when he said it. I was like, oh, that'll be great for the
Correct,
kids.
yeah, the tortoises are only within the, a certain they're not in California.
No, they're only here.
They have a similar one, desert tortoises in California.
Maybe
Okay.
they call it just, Gopher Tortoise Day. I don't know.
Okay,
But I
thank
got
you.
so excited, I just said, oh, the kids would love that.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great idea, I'm just
Yeah.
curious about so that's minor point.
Yeah, I know, you're just giving me a hard time, Bob. It's okay.
Okay. Anything else?
I have one thing that I forgot. The request for bids is out for the removal of the derelict boat on IR3. I thought they would think that, we would be interested in knowing about that. That came from Irene Arpaioglou, or however. So it should be disappearing in the next 6 months, probably.
Speeding, okay, all right. If there's nothing else, then, the meeting's adjourned, thank you.